Welcome to Around the Blockchain. Today we're talking about Litecoin is up, Coinbase is down, and an emergency loan that might make or break crypto. It's just been another continuous week of crazy news. We're going to get right into it. On the top right today, he's in mobile form. It is Miggy Crypto. I think he's driving around the Bahamas looking for you-know-who. RiceTVx on the bottom right. He just had an interview with Ben. So if we can show a little BitSquad love to RiceTVx, make sure we all go watch that video after sometime this weekend. On the bottom left, Brad, who actually is in the Bahamas. Brad, can you confirm? Are you in the Bahamas right now?
I am in Exuma, Bahamas, baby.
All right. Well, we're going to want some field reports later on this weekend. And then on the top left, we have AJ from AJ Writes Crypto, writer for the BitSquad, also writer for JPEG Junkies, holding up his favorite coin. That, of course, is Algorand. But let's talk about Litecoin first. Maybe we just go straight into the price and kind of talk about what has happened. I don't want to start with all-time. Whoa, that's scary. That's scary. Let me hide that. All right, now we're looking at the 7-day. You didn't get to see it. Don't worry. We don't want to upset any Litecoin fans by showing them that chart. I joke. We have had a nice little pump. But the reason we're talking about it, hold on. First, are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? This is the all-time chart right there. Hey, I think it's kind of technically we hit a new all-time high there. Michael Saylor in front of 150,000 people today. This was on a Twitter Spaces. They're discussing Bitcoin, discussing regulation, discussing the FTX fiasco. He gave an opinion. They asked him, Michael Saylor, what is the next coin that will be labeled a commodity after Bitcoin? His answer was Litecoin. Rice, you had boots on the ground at the Litecoin Summit. What are your thoughts? Unpack that a little for us. Is there a chance Litecoin could be the second commodity?
I mean, most definitely. And you asked me the last time I was on about the Litecoin Summit, and I said it wasn't a large turnout, but it was definitely a quality over quantity event. It was a good event, and I've said it before, Litecoin is the oldest cryptocurrency blockchain project that has had zero downtime, zero issues. And in fact, I mentioned it before as well. We probably wouldn't have Dogecoin today if it wasn't for Charlie Lee doing the merge mining with Dogecoin and Litecoin. We are seeing all the major applications like your PayPals and such adding Litecoin to their application. Grayscale obviously has it. The original three in Coinbase beyond, well, including Bitcoin, but once it was not just Bitcoin, we had Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So we also have a lot of people aren't even aware of the Omni Light layer, which is the same thing as the Omni layer that was on Bitcoin, which Tether used to run on. So you can create NFTs and colored coins or tokens on the Litecoin blockchain. And they have MWeb, which is a privacy fungibility option. That's an extension that they've come out with from one of the creators of Mimblewimble, or one of the developers on Mimblewimble. So you can't really sell Litecoin short. And I definitely got to represent for Tom Crown, for Crypto Blood, and for the fam as well.
All right, LTC in the chat. Let us know if you like some Litecoin. Please hit that like button. All right, well, AJ, I want to talk to you about the mining aspect of it. Today, Justin, we were looking at different mining coins, some ASIC coins, some GPU coins. But I want to ask you about Litecoin. So you can mine Litecoin with this world that we're heading towards, where there's a lot of focus on ESG and the like. Is this going to be a positive as more coins you can't mine? People are going to have all these, mining equipment. Hey, I got to do some. Or is this going to be a negative that hurts its mainstream adoption?
Well, I think a little bit of both, to be honest. Like, for the miners out there that don't know what to do with their rigs, Litecoin, it's been around for a really long time. With the OGs in crypto, it has a really good reputation. It's been around for 11 or 12 years. Like Rice said, it's never gone down. Like, I don't think it has the hype built around it. Like a bunch of new investors, for example, aren't just getting into crypto and jumping right into Litecoin. But I feel like once you're in the industry for a little while and you learn how long it's been around and how it's never gone down, I mean, and it's still proof of work. It's like feet firmly planted in the ground. It's a proof of work coin. And because of that, all the coins that are transitioning, a lot of miners could go to Litecoin, obviously. On the other side of that, a lot of VCs, a lot of the big people that put big money into crypto and pump these coins to the moon, like, what happened to Solana last year, that they might not want to get into Litecoin because they want to have a good look, like, oh, we're environmentally friendly, we care about the world and all that good stuff. And that is a good look, and it's all about optics. And so I could see why a lot of big VCs and stuff wouldn't want to back something that hasn't switched like Ethereum has. So
okay, all right. Well, Brad, I want to talk to you about the tokenomics a little bit. Just a little refresher for those watching at home. Litecoin bills itself as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. For every 1 Bitcoin, there are 4 Litecoin. Technically, a little different with the mining speeds and everything. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have 4 Litecoin for every 1 Bitcoin. But the price gap isn't a 4-to-1 ratio. It's actually closer to 100-to-1. It's above 40-to-1. Do you think that Litecoin is just always doomed to bleed against the Bitcoin, or is it going to gain Satoshis maybe this next bull run?
Well, it sounded like there's some positive things going on with it. I mean, anytime you get a guy like Michael Saylor that talks about it in public like that, that's definitely, a huge plus for Litecoin. I actually bought a little bit of Litecoin way back in early 2017. I remember those days that Rice was talking about when it was just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And so I just bought some Litecoin, not even knowing what it was, and wrote it up a little bit and sold it. And then, to be honest, I haven't really thought about Litecoin much. The last couple, 2 or 3 years. I kind of agree with what AJ was saying, that I'm not exactly sure if Litecoin has the hype behind it to get a lot of new money getting thrown at it at this point. But if people like Michael Saylor continue to hype it up, to back it, and if it does become a commodity, then I could see where it could potentially make people a lot of money. So I think it's definitely, for me, it would just be kind of a watch it closely scenario. I would really keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think Michael Saylor has some power. Now, Miggy, if you recall, Michael Saylor, he did that big conference. He was talking to CEOs, hundreds of them tuned in, a lot of influential people. We ended up seeing Tesla making some market buys into Bitcoin after that. So he has sway with powerful people, rich people from Web 2 world, traditional VC world, traditional investment world. Will there be a Michael Saylor effect on Litecoin? Maybe just a bullish narrative that it could be the second commodity.
I definitely think, with him talking about it, it'll be good to give it new light. I've always been a big fan of Litecoin. I remember buying Litecoin back on Coinbase in like 2013, 2014. It was one of the first main cryptos that I was involved with, to the point where I remember buying the actual coins, the physical coins that had the wallets on them.
Yeah, we're looking at the price. You got in at $2-3 there if you're buying in 2013. So good job. 2 points just for that.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Did you sell any? Did you sell any? I'm either going to reduce points or add some.
I sold it. So
okay, you get points.
I sold all of it.
To sell
I was
it.
acting as like a mini exchange.
I'm not trying to down Litecoin here. All right, so you are
back
a fan.
then the markup was so high that it was.
All right.
We're losing Miggy. Real quick, man. I want to add. Can I add something in real quick that I wanted to add? So Litecoin, I mean, it should follow everything that Bitcoin is following as far as regulation, because it is a Bitcoin code fork. It was a fair launch. There was no ICO.
Well, I know Charlie has sold his tokens, but don't you think that kind of changes things because he took a larger share than Satoshi Nakamoto, if I'm not mistaken?
No, and a lot of that was also put right back into the Litecoin Foundation too, which is another thing that people don't talk about. And then the other thing I want to add is money and currency is supposed to be boring.
Anything, let me know.
So it just needs to be boring.
Okay, all right. And AJ, we heard every word. Okay. We heard every word.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
With anything?
Let's. You need some help over there. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little Coinbase. Coinbase just got downgraded by Bank of America. They cut the price target from $77 to $50, and they're saying with the FTX fiasco, it doesn't make the company immune from the broader fallout in the crypto market. Brad, this is a publicly traded stock. They're audited 4 times a year, every quarter by a top 4 auditing firm. Brian Armstrong just came out this past week and said they have a 1-to-1 reserve for all of customers' assets. But Bank of America is saying, maybe you should be a little fearful here. Maybe there's a little smoke. What do you say when you look at Coinbase and how it's ran?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bank of America. I never bought one share of Coinbase because I'm a crypto guy. And even though it was, a crypto exchange, I just shy away from the stock market. But I do think that it has some long-term potential. I don't think Coinbase is going to be one of the exchanges that's going out of business anytime soon. And so I do agree with Bank of America that it's probably got some short-term pain to suffer through, just like the rest of the crypto market probably does. At the same time, I think that there's probably going to be some good entries into, if you want to diversify a little bit out of the crypto markets and get into some crypto-based type stocks, there could be a good opportunity there at some point in time to dive in and buy a few shares of the Coinbase stock.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, AJ, staying on Coinbase here, let's see. They have 3 reasons for the downgrade here. 1, dampened trading activity due to market conditions. We'll just say bearish sentiment. 2, delayed clarity on regulations. So 2 regulations. And 3, FTX fallout. So we have bear market, regulations, FTX. What is the worst obstacle that they have to overcome?
Well, I kind of think those 3 things are all like just one big circle. Like it's all relative. It's all a part of the current situation that we're in right now. I mean, really, like I agree completely with Brad said. This is an opportunity that if you wanted to get into crypto-based stocks, that this being $50, $50. If I don't think that that's going to be $50 forever. I think if you're into the stocks and you want exposure to crypto kind of assets, this is a great opportunity. Personally, I'm like strictly a crypto guy. I stay out of the stock world. There's already so many coins to keep track of. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And also, sorry for talking when you were talking. I thought I'd turn my mic off. I was talking to Ben. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. We knew it was Ben's fault, and that's why we're at. It's minus 3 points next time BitBoy's on.
It's my fault. It's my fault. But
no, I'm going to Ben and saying AJ blamed you. All right,
no,
Miggy,
no.
Miggy, let's talk about Ark Woods or Kathy Woods Ark Investments. They purchased 12 million in Coinbase shares not that long ago. Of course, during the bull market in March, April, she seemed like a genius. By June of that same year, down bad. I think a lot of her investments are down quite significantly. She kind of bought the top of Coinbase. She's signaling she's buying more. Do you see her as a reverse signal like Jim Cramer? Or you see someone, hey, you know what? They're down and they're still buying. I see it as a bullish indicator. Okay, maybe I thought
I'd like to think that she sees the potential. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we can hear you, frozen man.
Just go ahead.
Okay, I used to work up until I start talking, but seems to be.
All right. Well, we tried.
Did you catch any of that by chance?
We did not, unfortunately. Rice, real quick, let me ask you this last question about Coinbase here. Bank of America, this is their previous quote. They are the Amazon of crypto assets. These were things, while things were good in the bull market, they love this stock. Now they're down on it. Obviously, Bitcoin 4-year cycle has a lot to do with this token price, if you ask me, or the stock price, if you ask me. Are they just a fair weather fan, or do you think that, no, maybe they're trying to get it on the cheap and get people to sell while it's low?
I mean, I think honestly, Bank of America is probably trying to look out for their customers, the institutions that are investing within their organization. They are a large bank, and we are in uncertain times. I can't say that there is going to be any issues with Coinbase. I would like to think with everything that they've had going on for them, and the fact that they are a public traded company and they have FDIC insurance, that they would be around for the long haul. But we're just still uncertain as to who really had exposure to anything FTX or Alameda related and how that's going to ultimately affect the bottom line of those companies. Now, the thing that we got to also take in effect here is, we've seen situations where Coinbase has halted trading at very opportune times. Is that a sign that they don't have their assets one-for-one backed? So people need to be safe and they need to be smart, and don't risk more than you're willing to lose, leaving on a centralized entity, a custodial service, an exchange. If you're not actively trading, don't leave your cryptocurrency on an exchange. It is not a wallet. You don't have possession of your private keys. We keep drilling it in because people aren't listening. It's not your keys, not your crypto. So again, don't use these third-party custodial services or exchanges unless you're actively utilizing these services and you're willing to lose what you have on those platforms. If you can't afford that, pull your stuff off into a wallet that you possess the private keys to, because at this point, the most important thing I think that we as crypto content creators and influencers in the space can do is to educate people about how to maintain and be secure with their cryptocurrencies, and let them know what the problems are, because this isn't a blockchain cryptocurrency problem. This is an issue because we have some greedy, scammy individuals that are involved in our space. It has nothing to do with the technology.
Yeah, great point. It bears
Totally.
repeating. You know, it's not your keys, not your crypto. I remember first getting into the space. God, why do they keep saying it? Why won't they shut up about it? Shut up, boomer. I'm gonna go stake for yield, idiot. But then, yeah, you realize like, oh yeah, they literally just don't listen. All right, Miggy,
And if it sounds too good to be true, it generally is too good to be true.
It is. It's such great advice right there. Miggy, we'll try one more time. They called them the Amazon of crypto. Let's fast forward 5 years. Is Coinbase going to be the Amazon of crypto, or is it going to be a competitor? Who do you think it will be?
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hurry while it works.
Okay. I keep trying. Hopefully, because every time I get to this point. Okay.
Yep. It did it again.
Oh, we had 10 seconds there. We had 10 seconds. Yeah, you have to rapid fire that. All right. Just say it real quick. Is it Binance or is it Coinbase?
Yes.
It's not FTX.
Coinbase, long run. They've been doing good. Coinbase has been crushing it as far as, following regulations and making it easy for people to buy crypto. And I think, their CEO definitely has his head on, we may not like regulations, but he knows that that's part of the game. And so he's playing both sides and just doing what he can to make it as easy as possible for people to buy crypto. Regulations may change and he'll keep up to date with that. Whether we like it or not, those are things that are out of our control, but at least we have a good medium as Coinbase to facilitate, the transactions and have a place to connect our banks and make it easy for mainstream adoption.
All right. Beautifully said. And everything worked beautifully there. Yeah, I've been very impressed listening to Brian over the past 2 weeks. He's came out, he's given a lot more remarks. He's been more public with this fallout. And I don't know the guy personally, but it is Ben's uncle. So I guess I'm a fan. All right, let's move on. Talk about emergency loan that might make or break Bitcoin. This isn't actually hyperbole here. Genesis, of course, we covered Genesis earlier in the week. Genesis was a lending arm of Gemini, and also they have the same parent company as Grayscale. Genesis needs more money now. Of course, they said they needed 175 million. The parent company DCG gave them 140, so not quite the 175. Well, Genesis released yesterday that they're now seeking $1 billion in an emergency loan. This has a lot of heightened concerns about Grayscale and their ability to backstop Genesis, avoid a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust liquidation event. In response, Genesis did tell Reuters, Genesis had been exploring all possible options amidst the liquidity crunch resulting from the FTX news. So a lot to unpack here. Miggy, I'm going to start with you here. Genesis was down for 4 hours. I think it was on Monday. There's a lot of people saying, oh my God, it's insolvent. There's a lot of chatter saying Gemini is going to go down. And then they kind of came out and said, no, it's just a kind of one entity within our corporate umbrella. Do you think it stays localized within one entity, or is this going to bleed into other DCG assets? I thought it was such a beautifully asked question, too.
That was a perfect question, dude.
It was a really great question. I commend you on the question.
All right. Well, we tried.
Points for DZ. DZ get points for that.
All right.
You can have all my points.
Rice, I'll ask you the same question. Is this going to just be localized with this Genesis trade or this lending arm, or is this going to be a spill out into Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and other assets that they do hold?
I believe this will be localized. DCG is too big of an entity to collapse and have everything that they have kind of go by the wayside, especially as much control as they've exerted that they have over the entire cryptocurrency market. I don't see them just losing that because of what's happening with an entity. I would see them rather cut off their arm versus letting the whole body die. So I definitely see this to be localized. And again, I mean, if people really look at who's behind the digital currency group and look at who's involved and look at how much they have their hands in within the crypto industry, how much they own, how much they're partners with, investors of, it is absolutely insane. And if that was to go down, then that would definitely bring the entire cryptocurrency market, and it would bring everything back to the original vision of what Satoshi had, which is peer-to-peer.
All right. Miggy, I see you moving around. I think he's out of the Twitter space now. He was trying to chat with Elon there. I'm going to ask you another question here. What's $1 billion amongst friends? Do you think that we might see something similar to where another crypto agency will step in and save the day?
It's possible, at least with them, because the guys running, Gemini, they've brilliant. They've been all into crypto since, day one, heavily invested personally, and so they're doing a lot to build the space and help grow it. I think people could see the potential in what they're able to do, and at least give a little bit of trust that if they do back them and help them out in this situation, they're going to do best to carry on this legacy. But the Winklevoss twins, they know what they're doing and they're all in, so I think we'll see some support for them for sure.
I don't think it'll be Zuck though. I don't think Zuck's going to come through and save the day. Might be a little bad
ironic?
Blood, Yeah, that would actually be funny. AJ, should be worried about Grayscale. For those who don't know, Grayscale is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the entire world. Is this a worrisome event?
Well, I want to stand here and say, we shouldn't worry about them, because if they go down, that would just be that would be headlines for days and days. I'd have plenty of stuff to write about for the next month. And that fallout, I don't even want to think about that fallout. I really don't. Am I 10% worried about them? Yeah, 100%. I'm 10% worried about them. I don't know. This whole thing, this whole fallout, the big picture of this whole thing kind of goes back to what Ben was saying on the live stream. This is why Sam Bankman-Fried cannot be forgiven. This guy does not get any more chances with us. I don't care what he does. I don't care how many fluff pieces are written about him. Strike 1, 2, 3, you're out, stay out, leave us alone. It's just a bad look for the entire industry. Now the regulators are going to want to do A, B, and C, all because this guy just,
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Is good. Comment in the chat if you feel the same way. Brad, final question here. What I made the hyperbolic suggestion that this would be, the death of crypto, the death of Bitcoin. Obviously, you can't kill Bitcoin. That which is dead can never die. To quote Theon Greyjoy there. I don't know why I quoted Theon.
Love it.
What would happen though? Say they were to get liquidated. I mean, are we looking at 4-digit Bitcoin? I mean, where do you? How low can this thing go?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. Once again, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure, and time to rant and rave a little bit. I mean, yeah, anything can happen in crypto, but I think it's why it's so important, folks, for you to be listening in on shows like this and seeing all of these influencers, all of these people with their belief, because when it really comes down to it, even if it did implode, all of us would be unhappy for the short term. But I'm not going to lie, I would not be unhappy if I got an opportunity to scoop up some Bitcoin at $3,000 again. Yeah, I would suck for the people that were in it at 50 or 60,000, but it wouldn't suck for them either, because if they bought a few at 3,000, all they got to do is wait till 2024, 2025, and it will rebound. It reminds me, Ben, from BitBoy Crypto here, talks about how the automobile industry was such a amazing solution to our traveling problems compared to the horse and buggies, that it was inevitable. It was coming. There was nothing they could do to stop it. I don't care if one of the horse and buggy owners would have wiped out every single automobile that had been made and just destroyed the plant. Somebody was coming back and building cars. And so no matter what they do to us, no matter how they try to beat us down, what businesses go insolvent, I don't care if Bitcoin goes down to 3,000 or 300 or $3, this is our opportunity to take back our freedom in life, the freedom that our government and the world elite are trying so hard to take from us. So you gotta look at perspective. It would be miserable in the short term, but long term, let them do everything that they're trying to do. Let them beat the price down to nothing so that we can all scoop it up that much cheaper and get rich and free that much faster.
All right, Bitcoin adoption is inevitable. With that, I snapped my fingers on the episode, and it looks like RiceTVx was the winner. RiceTVx. Thanos snap us into some sense into us. Please leave us with some parting thoughts.
Thanks again for having me back on the show. I encourage everyone to make sure they're following all the guests. Make sure that you guys are checking out my interview that I released today with Ben Armstrong, BitBoy. Came out today on RiceTVx. Make sure you are subscribed to my 2 YouTube channels, RiceTVx and Rice Against the Grain. Make sure you go outside, touch grass, and have a great weekend. Much love.
All right. That is all we have time for today, BitSquad. Until next time, DZ out.
5:45,
Stay
Frankie
calm.
Candles, yo.